Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something really interesting. These excerpts from Stephenie Meyer's Midnight Sun.
Hmm.
Now, if you know Twilight, this is the other side, right? Same story, but all through Edward Cullen's eyes. Well, his mind, really, as he first meets Bella Swan.
Exactly. You, our listener, sent these excerpts our way. And what we really want to unpack is Edward's initial shock, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy like him, a vampire, been around forever, what was it about this girl, this human, that sparked such a massive immediate reaction?
And that internal conflict it sets off.
Right. We want to get a really clear picture of that moment, from his unique supernatural point of view.
Okay, let's jump in. So at the start of these bits, Edward's life is kind of set, predictable even.
Yeah, very much so.
He's got this constant noise of human thoughts, but he's mostly tuned it out. There's almost this like boredom, a weariness with how predictable humans are, especially with attraction.
Mm-hmm. Which you see straight away when Bella arrives and all the normal teenage thoughts start buzzing around her.
He's usually pretty selective though, right? With whose thoughts he actually listens to.
That's a key point, yeah. He mentions only really focusing on his family, and that's mostly out of courtesy.
So human thoughts are just background static.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Something he actively pushes away. Until Bella, she walks in, and bang, everything changes.
Great. That cafeteria scene, it's such a clear image.
Yeah.
He barely notices another student, Whitney, and Jasper's totally uninterested. It just shows how mundane this usually is for them.
Just another day at high school, vampire style.
Then he sees Bella, and first, it's just how she looks. Pale face, heart-shaped, dark eyes. That catches his eyes. But what happens next? That's the weird part.
The silence.
Yeah.
For a telepath. Complete mental silence from someone right there. It's unheard of.
Totally.
He can see her react to him and his family, see her get a bit self-conscious when she clocks him looking.
Mm.
But where her thoughts should be, nothing. Just a blank, a void.
And it totally throws him. You see him immediately get uneasy, asking himself, was there something wrong with me?
Which is amazing, isn't it? This incredibly powerful being suddenly questioning his own abilities because of this girl.
What do you think that silence represents for him? For someone who knows thoughts, is it like a wall?
I think it's more fundamental than that.
Yeah.
His whole perception is tied to thoughts. Bella's silence isn't just odd, it challenges how he understands. Well, consciousness itself.
Or like a musician hearing total silence?
Exactly. It's jarring.
Uh.
Makes you think something's broken.
And Meyer really plays this up, doesn't she? Contrasting Bella's quiet with the LOD thoughts of other kids, like Mike Newton.
Oh, yeah. Mike's thoughts are just textbook teenage crush. So loud.
It just hammers home how different Bella is, this island of quiet and all that mental noise.
And that immediately makes her not just different, but an enigma.
A puzzle.
Yeah, something outside his experience, something he needs to figure out.
Then his focus shifts to her physically, and that's where the danger really kicks in. He sees how fragile she looks, her skin's almost see-through, and then that pulse, the blood moving.
And bam, instant thirst, that core vampire instinct.
But he's fighting it hard, trying to stick to the Cullen way, the vegetarian thing.
The internal battle starts right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's powerful. Primal attraction versus the morality he's adopted, the rules Carlisle set down.
Yeah, that push and pull, it's there from second one.
It really is.
And it's not just the thirst, is it? He sees this little frown she has, like she's straining or something.
Right, and he can see it, but without her thoughts. He has no clue why.
It must be maddening for him. He's used to knowing everything. Now he's missing this huge piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. He's used to control, to understanding motives.
Mm.
Bella's silence takes that away, leaves him feeling kind of blind, vulnerable almost.
Then we get to biology class, junior biology.
Oh, yeah.
The setting kind of shows how far beyond this he is intellectually, right? He's just enduring the lecture.
Totally. Bored out of his mind. Until
the scent hits him. Bella's scent.
And the way it's described, it's not just nice. It's unprecedented.
He says the sweetest in 80 years. Beyond anything he could imagine.
Yeah. And it triggers this insane thirst, this need to hunt her that just wipes out everything else. It's not just a craving, it's elemental.
And the internal war just explodes, doesn't it? You see the two sides so clearly.
Yeah, Carlisle's faced compassion, morality versus the monster inside him. That potential he always fights.
It's a battle for his soul, almost.
The stakes feel that high for him. He's terrified of losing control, all those decades of effort, the tiny improvements thanks to Carlisle.
All threatened by her just being there.
Exactly. It's not just temptation. It's like his whole identity is on the line.
And poor Bella, oblivious, she shakes her hair.
And he sees it as a taunt, like she's deliberately provoking the monster.
It shows the huge gulf between her reality and his, right?
Totally. So then we see him desperately trying to cope in class, using his mind, but for defense.
Planning his escape, basically. Focusing on logistics, not the urge itself.
It's sheer willpower. But you can tell it's stretched thin, so thin.
And that moment he sees the blood on her cheek from the blood typing.
Oh, man. That nearly breaks him.
It's such a stark reminder of how close he is, how dangerous this is for her, even if she has no idea.
Yeah, that tiny drop of blood highlights just how potent her scent is to him. It's a constant, massive trigger he's barely holding back.
Which leads him to just flee. He bolts from the parking lot.
Yeah, just gone, panicked. Pure flight response, no thinking involved.
And that conversation with Tanya and Denali, it's kind of revealing, isn't it?
It really is. He's actually embarrassed to admit a human is messing him up this badly.
Especially to someone like Tanya, who seems to have her stuff more together, integration-wise.
Right, her teasing him about woman troubles.
It just misses the point so completely.
Totally. This isn't romance for him, not then. It's an existential threat. His denial tells you everything.
But even as he's rejecting Tanya, you see that flicker of Carlisle's influence, right? Trying not to hurt her feelings.
Yeah, that ethical core is still there, even in the middle of this chaos. It hasn't completely vanished.
But the pullback to Forks, back to Bella, it's too strong.
Undeniable. He wants to be Edward that faced things head on, but he's also terrified of what facing her means.
That classic fight or flight, he's stuck right in the middle.
Yeah, his pride wants him to confront it, stick to the plan, the family rules. But his reaction to Bella has just shaken him to the core. He doesn't trust himself.
So back in Forks, he's trying to keep his distance, but she's all he can think about.
And the family knows something's up. Alice's visions, his weirdness in the cafeteria, they're all watching him. Curious, concerned.
That family dynamic is fascinating. They're so connected.
Super attuned. And Edward's behavior, way off his baseline.
Yeah.
Jasper's questions, Emmett's teasing. They know something big is happening, even if they don't get the half of it.
And his reaction when Bella walks into the cafeteria again, it's almost funny how intense he is.
Trying so hard to look bored.
While inside, he's tracking her every move, noticing Jessica's impatience, Bella blushing.
He's on high alert, hyper-vigilant, trying to control his breathing so he doesn't get overwhelmed by her scent again.
It sounds exhausting, like walking a tightrope constantly.
Totally. And all the while, he's trying to get into her head, right? Trying to hear something.
And failing, which just makes him more frustrated.
And more fascinated. That barrier. It just pulls him in deeper. It's a locked door he has to open.
The mystery of the silence becomes the obsession.
Yeah, it defies everything he knows, everything he is. He can't let it go.
Then that whispered chat between Jessica and Bella. He's staring at you.
So Bella knows he's watching intensely. She just completely misreads why.
Her line, I don't think he likes me.
Wow, talk about missing the mark.
Classic misinterpretation, isn't it? She sees dislike, not this incredibly dangerous attraction. Shows the huge gap between their worlds.
Even after lunch, she's still hanging around the classroom listening for her footsteps.
It's illogical. Obsessive. He just can't pull himself away.
And the family sees it. They're waiting. They know this is significant. They know his patterns. This isn't him. They sense this could change everything for them.
Which brings him to that choice. Keep running, keep suffering, or give in to the curiosity about the silence.
And curiosity wins. Of course it does.
Yeah.
Despite telling himself he wouldn't get involved.
The unknown is just too tempting, isn't it? Especially when it challenges his own nature.
Absolutely. That silence is a puzzle screaming to be solved, even with the risks involved.
And then Alice gives him that little bit of cover.
Yeah, the vision. 93% sure that nothing bad will happen.
Almost darkly funny, that precision. But it's enough for him.
Alice's visions carry weight. Even that 7% uncertainty. Normally that'd be huge. But the potential reward, understanding Bella, seems worth it to him right then.
So he does it, approaches her in biology, tries to hold her gaze, focus on the eyes, ignore the scent.
Which must be incredibly difficult.
And then the intro, so formal. My name is Edward Cullen.
It's like a mask, isn't it? Trying to act normal while inside he's barely holding it together.
And Bella's confusion. How do you know my name? It just shows how unaware she is of the stir she's caused.
Yeah, completely naive about the scrutiny. And Edward's little laugh, the explanation about the small town. It's him trying to disarm her.
Trying to seem less predatory.
Exactly. Starting to manage her perception of him right from the start. Casual explanation, a bit of charm, hiding the obsession.
And then the lab assignment. The struggle just ramps up again.
Talking to her makes the thirst worse. He has to force the smile, the offer to partner up.
And her reaction. Kind of blank, wide-eyed. Maybe his normal act isn't quite landing.
Could be surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe leftover unease from the cafeteria stare down. Or just sensing something's off about him.
He's mentally coaching himself through the lab, relieved when she gets anaphase right.
But then he slips. Gives the wrong slide number. You feel that frustration. He can't even focus on simple stuff.
Shows how much mental energy she's taking up, doesn't it?
Totally. Just maintaining normalcy around her is draining everything else.
But then Bella surprises him. She's actually eager with the microscope, collaborative.
Yeah, she's not intimidated. Even hopes he got it wrong.
It kind of messes with his expectations, maybe, of how a human should react to him after everything.
Definitely disarming. He probably expects caution, maybe fear, after the intense staring. Her just engaging intellectually throws him off.
And Mr. Banner's comment about learning for themselves. A little moment of lightness.
Yeah, underscores how Edward's kind of overdoing the helpfulness, and Edward knows he blew it, the slips.
Yeah.
He wants to make a better impression now.
He needs to fix the memory of that first intense meeting.
Right, so he tries small talk. The snow.
Which leads to Bella mentioning her mom remarrying, why she moved.
And this is a shift, isn't it? He feels empathy.
Yeah, genuine empathy for her sadness. Wants to comfort her. He calls it a strange impulse.
That's huge. It's moving beyond just curiosity or hunger. Connection. Vulnerability triggering protection.
Yeah.
Something complex is starting.
But Bella gets uncomfortable when he guesses things right about her life.
It doesn't like being read so easily, even if it's just deduction.
And then Edward admits, I find you very difficult to read, which she kind of turns back on him accurately.
Such an ironic moment. The master mind reader totally stumped, while the ordinary human sees through him.
And then, wow, that smile, deliberately showing his teeth.
So risky. Reckless almost, a primal warning.
But Bella doesn't flinch, completely unalarmed.
Is it naivete? Or is there some subconscious trust already forming? It's baffling for him.
Yeah, the signal just doesn't land. He tries to warn her off and it just fails.
And the relief when he gets out of that classroom, palpable. Followed by Emmett's question.
Nobody died.
Yeah. Says everything about the family's tension level, doesn't it? They know the tightrope Edward's walking.
So he's back hiding in his car, fighting the urges, just trapped in this loop.
Can't make rational decisions. He's just compulsively tracking thoughts, trying to predict Bella's movements. It's, full-blown obsession now.
His usual control is just gone. Completely replaced by this fixation on her.
And then he gets out of the car as kids leave the gym. Even he doesn't know why he's doing it.
Totally irrational behavior.
Then sees her driving her truck, all careful, and finds it funny that she could be dangerous.
There's still a bit of that vampire arrogance there, maybe. Seeing human frailty.
Maybe. But it also just highlights the power imbalance. He's the danger, even though he feels threatened by her.
So he decides to hunt again. Not even thirsty, really, just preventative.
Desperate measures. And Carlisle goes with him, clearly worried, remembering the flight from Denali.
Carlisle senses how deep this goes.
Yeah, his concern is obvious. He wants to help, guide him. But Edward struggles to explain it right.
Says the danger is to him, not from him to her. Which must sound crazy.
Totally paradoxical. And Carlisle, perceptive as ever, respects his privacy, but you know he's deeply worried.
And Edward knows he's being hypocritical about privacy, given he reads minds all the time.
Adds that layer of irony. The hunting trip itself, though. Chasing deer. It's almost a moment of normalcy. A familiar ritual. Grounding, maybe. A physical distraction from the Bella obsession, at least for a bit.
But even then, his mind goes back to her, imagining her future. College, career, marriage.
And it hurts him, unexpectedly. Jealousy, which he never feels for humans.
That's a huge flag, isn't it? Shows a much deeper emotional stake in her life.
Definitely. It's not just about his control anymore. It's about her future, her happiness, even if it's without him.
So the rational side wins, briefly. He decides to leave her to that future. It's the right thing, the Carlisle thing to do.
Makes sense. It's logical, responsible.
But then, one more time, that impulse undermines the whole resolution, sets him up to fail.
The conflict is so clear. Rational mind versus this overwhelming emotional pull. He knows what he should do.
And he can't. The desire to just see her again wins out.
And he becomes hyper-aware of her routine. monitoring her constantly, almost voyeuristically, while his family is just bored by it. They don't get it.
The disconnect is huge. For him, it's life-altering. For them, is Edward being weird about a girl.
Exactly. Highlights how unique this is. He's waiting for her that morning, watching her arrive, debating. Should I talk to her? Should I break my own rule again?
He's just trapped in this cycle,
Yeah.
knowing distance is safer for both of them.
Yet, being completely unable to maintain it, that magnetic pull is just too strong. Constant internal battle.
And then everything shatters. Alice's vision.
Instant terror. Bella's about to die.
And Edward moves. No thought, pure instinct, faster than humanly possible, pushes her out of the way.
In that split second, it's all about her safety. Nothing else matters. Not the risk, not exposing himself. Just save Bella.
But he knows immediately what he's done. Exposed his speed, his strength. Huge mistake.
And then the van almost gets her again. That curse. It's so raw. Shows the real fear, the real stakes.
The second near miss just makes it worse. Almost justifies his intervention in his mind despite the consequences. And his scramble to look normal afterwards. Pretending to be breathless, disoriented.
Quick thinking, though. Cooking up that story about slipping, being in the right place, trying to control the narrative.
But Bella, she's the only one who doesn't buy it.
Yeah, her skepticism, that seed of doubt is planted. She knows something impossible happened.
But maybe others dismiss her. Trauma, shock. It kind of works in his favor, ironically.
Right. She's not seen as most reliable witness right then.
So the hospital focus shifts to Tyler feeling guilty.
While Carlisle keeps a low profile, knows the family resemblance is risky now, after the parking lot.
That constant vigilance they live with. Any slip-up could expose everything.
Then Edward hears Bella say his name. Quietly.
And that's it. Curiosity flares again. He has to see her. Impulsively goes to her door.
The need to know she's okay just overrides caution. Again, shows how strong that connection is becoming.
Carlisle arrives. Bella notices the resemblance. Edward sees it too.
And Carlisle is so smooth, so calming. Bella insists she's fine, but there's maybe something under the surface. Discomfort. Suspicion.
And watching Carlisle examine her, just a normal act of care, Edward feels this wave of emotion.
It's poignant, yeah. Connecting with her humanity through Carlisle's kindness, seeing her vulnerability, but also her quiet bravery.
She doesn't want to seem weak, does she?
No. And that impresses him too. Then Carlisle releases her to Charlie, warns about delayed symptoms, crisis averted, for now.
But the underlying tension, still sky high.
For Edward, yeah. The near miss just intensified everything, the conflict, the danger he represents.
And the family reaction back home? Intense, especially Jasper.
Volatile. Jasper sees a threat to all of them. Edward potentially blew their cover. His fear, his anger. It's about survival.
Emmett has to restrain him. Alice warns him off. It's serious.
Shows the real stakes for the whole family. And Edward's justifying it internally, right? The instinct to protect Bella won out over caution.
But he knows. He knows he's now a direct danger to her just by existing near her. It's a horrible paradox.
That's the core conflict, isn't it? Wanting to protect her from the danger that is himself.
He even has that fleeting thought, kidnapping her to keep her safe.
Crazy, desperate idea. Quickly dismissed. Too risky for her.
And Alice's visions are all murky now. No clear future, just uncertainty, all centered around Bella.
Her inability to see clearly is a huge deal. Shows how much Bella disrupts everything, the established order.
There's unspoken tension as they drive home. Rosalie's resentment. She doesn't want to move again.
Understandable. Edward's actions have put their whole life at risk. But Carlisle, he's measured. Trusts Edward's take on the silence.
Which is ironic given Edward knows nothing about why she's silent.
Huge irony. Carlisle's trust is deep, but maybe a bit blind right now because it's Edward. Adds to the tension.
Then Alice drops the bombshell visions, the future with Bella, including him possibly killing her.
That's terrifying, especially coming from Alice, whose visions are usually so reliable. And Alice likes Bella, wants to be friends. That adds weight.
Edward's reaction is pure horror, isn't it? Rejects it completely, wants to leave, change that future.
Desperate denial. But Emmett finds it darkly funny. Rosalie's just disgusted. Shows the divisions.
Yeah, they all react differently.
Yeah.
Reflects their own issues, their own acceptance levels. And Esme, stunned, heartbroken at the idea of Edward falling for a human. It's that big a deal.
Shows how unprecedented this is for them. And Alice lays out the options. Basically, Edward can't resist her. Leads to disaster or
the other future, the one he really doesn't want. Bella becoming like them.
Yeah. the chilling vision of vampire Bella. That transformation, it raises huge ethical issues. It's a line Edward doesn't want to cross.
So he's stuck with this awful knowledge, tries to run again, goes to Seattle.
Trying to create distance, fight the visions, fight the pull.
But realizes he can't stay away. It hurts too much.
It's like an addiction, isn't it? He knows it's dangerous, but the withdrawal is unbearable.
So he makes a new vow. He won't destroy her future. He'll endure the torment, pretend indifference.
While secretly watching her through others' minds, that possessiveness creeping back in.
Gets frustrated with Mike Newton hitting on her. Wants to be the one to know her secrets.
Complex emotions. Jealousy of Mike, concern for Bella, frustration at her indifference to him, while he's fighting this epic internal battle over her.
And Alice is still watching, right? Making
Sure.
cryptic comments.
Yeah, about his resilience in not killing her, basically, while still being totally drawn in. Even Alice seems baffled by the paradox.
It's not simple predator-prey. It's way more complicated.
Definitely uncharted territory, even for a seer.
Then he overhears Mike trying to ask Bella to the dance. Awkward.
Very. And while Bella hesitates, Edward gets hit with another vision.
Her human future, love, marriage
Good.
with someone else.
And the pain it causes him. It's described as deeper than anything before, truly visceral.
That forces him to confront it, doesn't it? The reality of her life moving on without him, what he might lose or deny them both.
Yeah, it really crystallizes the emotional stakes for him.
So, after the van incident, Bella's withdrawn in biology, understandably.
And Edward's wrestling with it all. His nature versus these feelings. Remorse, guilt, protective rage.
All churning inside. But just being near her, focusing on her, suppresses it momentarily, until the scent hits again.
Always the scent. Triggers the thirst. Renews his determination. Don't destroy her future. Don't collide with her life.
But he knows he can't stay away. The monster inside him is frustrated by his own weakness, his wavering.
It's that core tension again. The constant agony of wanting her and knowing he shouldn't or can't have her safely.
Then Bella breaks the silence, asks if he's talking to her again, direct.
And he hesitates, denies it. Lies, basically. And knows she probably sees it.
Which frustrates her. She leaves abruptly, angry, but maybe a little vulnerable too.
He notices that and does that small thing. Picks up her books, but doesn't touch her.
An unseen kindness. But their exchange in the hall is cold, brief, masking everything underneath.
So much tension. So many unspoken feelings swirling around them. His little act shows he cares, even while pushing her away.
Then he watches the other guys, Eric nervously asking her to the dance.
Gets gently shot down, though she leaves the door kind of open. Edward finds it quietly amusing.
Typical high school stuff happening around this massive supernatural drama.
Yeah, Tyler's more confident approach is waiting in the wings, too. It just highlights Edward's total otherness in this setting.
Then he makes that impulsive choice, go hunting again, even though he just fed.
Why? Because the pull to Bella is just relentless. Even gorging himself doesn't dull her sense power over him.
The internal conflict again. And the less noble side wins.
Yeah. Leads to the reckless plan. Sneak into her house. Watch her sleep.
He tries to rationalize it safe distance, but knows it's wrong. Indefensible.
Completely obsessive behavior. Calculating how to get in without leaving a trace. It's dark.
And he reflects. She deserves a happy human life. He's unworthy. That thought genuinely hurts him. Metaphorical heartbreak.
Yeah, that realization hits hard.
Then she says his name in her sleep.
Which just floors him, startles him completely. That inexplicable connection confirmed even in her subconscious.
So he reflects on his own existence, right? Being a vampire as freezing, eternal midnight.
And Bella's like the sun rising in that midnight, thawing him out. Paradoxical.
He understands the temptation to turn her, keep her forever, that selfish desire.
But rejects it. She deserves better. She deserves her life.
So he thinks about the thin wire being near her while she stays human.
And starts deliberately exposing himself to her scent, trying to build tolerance, like desensitization therapy almost.
Spends the night watching her, breathing her in, plotting.
Returns home before the family leaves, avoids Esme's knowing eyes. She can probably sense the shift.
Because his demeanor has changed. He's not running anymore. He's decided to pursue her.
But with a fair warning, he tells himself, whatever that means.
And then that final encounter in the excerpts. She arrives at school, drops her keys, gives him an opening.
A chance for interaction. It's brief, tense. She's still angry. He tries to keep it light.
Then hurries away, fighting his own speed.
Yeah, it really shows his internal shift, moving from fear and avoidance
towards something else. acceptance of his feelings, a willingness to engage despite the risks.
Tentative. Still dangerous.
Mhm.
But driven by attraction and this growing, complicated desire to protect her humanity, even from himself.
So if we boil down this whole initial whirlwind, Bella's arrival just completely upends his entire existence, doesn't it?
Totally disrupts centuries of routine. The silence from her mind, the overwhelming scent, the instant, fierce internal battle. It's all completely new and destabilizing for him.
Right. And for you, the learner, the big takeaways are really about the power of the unexpected, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You have this ancient, powerful, supernatural being just knocked sideways by a seemingly ordinary human girl.
It shows that struggle between raw instinct and adopted morality so clearly.
And the vulnerability hidden under all that power. Plus, the sheer force of a connection that just defies logic or understanding.
And maybe a final thought to leave folks with. Given how internal and unique Edward's experience is, what is it about Bella? What unspoken qualities, what unique forces might she possess, even unconsciously, that make her so different, so magnetic to him?
Yeah, what does that suggest about connection itself? About attraction beyond just the surface level?
And maybe thinking about our own lives. What unexpected connections have we had? What unique silences have we encountered in others that maybe held more meaning than we first thought?
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.